The education system in America has had a long history of struggle and change. When growing as a nation, we have experienced an ever-increasing rise in cultural diversity. While met with great appreciation, the diversity has created much tension between groups and all layers in society. This has sparked a plethora of debates of educational opportunities in America. Although it was not prominent right after American independence, in the 1800s, the development of education was more crucial than ever, as this set the tone for the future of the urban elite of the United States. When examining the 1800 education and antebellum movements, three prominent figures come to mind: Horace Mann, Noah Webster, and William McGuffey. Today, we will deeply analyze each figure and their contributions towards the development of the modern education system. Horace Mann was really the man of education. Not only did he set out to reform the system of public education in Massachusetts, which was his home state, but he changed the face of the American education system all across the nation.
One thing that a lot of educational experts overlook is that Horace Mann was not born into a wealthy family. Rather than being the typical Thomas Jefferson or John Quincy Adams, who both had a prosperous education from the beginning, Horace Mann did not really have the same conducive environment. He never attended school for more than 8 or 10 weeks at a time until after he was 16 years old. Yet despite his lack of educational opportunity during his youth, Horace ended up graduating from the venerable Brown University with honors. Something that is important to note is that because Horace did not have such great education, this motivated him even more to achieve greater success. Clearly, with his honorable credentials, including having passed the bar exam and practicing law for over 10 years, Horace had a great foundation for education with experience in high-level learning and work. Horace Mann entered the Massachusetts House of Representatives in 1827. After being elected President of the Senate in 1835, his political dynamic and knack for reform changed. By implementing primal reforms such as establishment of state hospitals and abolition of slavery, Mann created a platform for his strong ideals of education. The reason why Horace Mann was able to bring such importance to education was because he drew a parallel between students learning new things and social factors such as crime rates. For example, if you were smarter, you'd get a better job, which means higher income, less poverty, and a more stable economy.
Horace Mann is known as the father of education due to his ability to arouse public interest in education. Unlike others during the antebellum movement, he was able to discern specific problems with education.
Around 1827, the educational system in America was an obvious disaster. Teachers were often poorly prepared and significantly underpaid. As a result, local schools were open for a very short period of time during the year. This is when the man of education stepped up to the plate.
Mann toured the streets across the states and organized education conventions that impacted both how students learned, as well as the methods teachers used to teach these very students. Thus, he proved to impact America's education system, making him the father and the man of education. While Horace Mann was the father of education, a man named Noah Webster could easily take this very same title, as he conceived the dictionary and developed American language and grammar, thus enabling America to really feel a true sense of independence from the former mother country of Great Britain.
Noah Webster was born on October 16, 1758, in Connecticut. Webster grew up in an average colonial family, and Webster enjoyed learning so much that his parents sent him to Yale University. He left Connecticut in 1774, and when he was 16, he graduated in 1778. Webster wanted to continue his education by studying law, but then decided to further spread his educational influence and became a teacher.
During Webster's time as a teacher, he made several observations on the American educational system. He knew the system had to be updated.
While teaching, he noticed how children of all ages were crammed into one room, with poor books, no desks, and he questioned how someone could learn in such an environment. Even though the time period was post-revolutionary, most of the textbooks were still written and published in England, which were very favorable in their ideas to the monarchy. His belief was that Americans should be learning out of American written textbooks. So he wrote his own, titled A Grammatical Institute of the English Language. It earned its nickname, the BlueBacked Speller, because of its characteristic blue cover. For over 100 years, Webster's book sold to schoolhouses around the nation. It was the most popular American book of its time, selling nearly 100 million copies.
The BlueBacked Speller had a great impact on the lives of young students. The book taught children how to pronounce words, read, and spell. It also impacted the common man because they could identify themselves by the language they spoke.
This one book has developed the minds of several young American learners. Students finally had the chance to have an updated textbook and be taught from the views that favored America as its own countries. Even famous contests developed from the teachings of the BlueBacked Speller, such as the spelling bee. It also starts showing the first development of an American language by introducing new vocabulary and pronunciation to words. Webster's other major contribution to American education was in the field of lexicography. Indeed, the word Webster is still virtually synonymous with dictionary. Although Webster issued a small stopgap dictionary, his masterpiece was his An American Dictionary of English Language of 1828, a 2-volume work of more than 70,000 entries and the first truly American dictionary.
Once again, Noah Webster was truly an American hero because he saw a problem and had the initiative to fix it. He aided several young students with reading and writing in his book on grammar and language, and even helped more Americans develop an identity by the words they spoke by publishing his dictionary and leaving an everlasting stamp on education in America. But let us also not forget the marvelous works of William McGuffey, who further proliferated the information era, specifically geared towards education.
William McGuffey was born on September 23, 1800 in Pennsylvania. His family placed a heavy emphasis on education. McGuffey attended public school but also received special tutoring in Latin from a local minister. He eventually enrolled in Washington College in Pennsylvania. McGuffey is most famous for completing a series of textbooks that became the standardized reading text for most schools across the United States during the mid to late 19th century.
First published in 1836, McGuffey's Reader, as it became known, eventually consisted of a multi-volume work with 6 levels of difficulty. Very different from modern-day textbooks, the McGuffey Reader contained religious messages and sought to instill morality in its readers. Between 1836 and 1890, McGuffey's publisher printed and sold more than 100 million copies of McGuffey's Reader.
Practically every American who attended public schools during the second half of the 19th century learned moral and ethical lessons from McGuffey's Reader. The McGuffey Readers were designated to teach kids in the 1st through 6th grade 3 major qualities: the importance of individualism, honesty, and hard work.
So William McGuffey was crucial to the development of the American education system because of his textbooks that were created to teach morals as well as educate children in schoolhouses all across America. In conclusion, the American education system would be completely different today without the contributions of Horace Mann, Noah Webster, and William McGuffey. Horace Mann was important because he fought in Congress for an increase in public education. Noah Webster helped students develop grammar skills with his BlueBacked Speller and also created the dictionary that Americans still use today. And finally, William McGuffey created a series of textbooks that taught morals as well as educated children in schoolhouses. In order to end this documentary, we will listen to the words of Horace Mann. Education, then, beyond all other devices of human origin, is the great equalizer of the conditions of men, the balance wheel of the social machinery.